I give up. Okay, this is probably gonna be like the most chaotic video I ever put on the internet, but guess what?
I look good today.
And so instead of filming tomorrow, we're filming today. So I came up with this brilliant idea, never been done before. I'm literally pioneering the way. I'm gonna do a book review. I know. It just came to me. I'm so original. But no, I read this book a couple days ago and I really liked it, and they're turning it into a show. And so I thought, let me give my critiques. Let me tell you all about it for the people that want to watch the show but don't want to read the book. I'm doing some like cleaning in the background. I'm trying something new. Deal with it. The book I read was called Every Summer After. Ignore the mess. Don't tell me you don't have a mess in your room. I think it's coming out on Prime soon. Those of you who watched High School Musical, the musical series, EJ is the love interest. So basically, Every Summer After is the story of Sam and Percy. Her name is Persephone. So freaking pretty, but that's a mouthful. So her name is Percy, and it follows the love story of her and Sam. So Sam lives in this lakeside town. It's a small town, and he lives in a cottage by the lake, and Percy just so happens to move in next door. So of course, Sam and Percy being around the same age, their parents are like, oh hey, go hang out. And so they do. Sam has an older brother. His name is Charlie. He's one of the, those older brothers that like really think very highly of themselves and they're cocky like 24/7. Sorry, I don't know what that was. He's one of those. He thinks he's on top of the world. He's like a senior, I think. Not at the time they meet, but like he's just like 1 to 2 years older than them. And so, he has all these girls in rotation, and of course is like a little flirt with his little brother's friend, which like, I guess. So Charlie and Percy aren't very close, but by being close with Sam, she grows close to Charlie. Like, he's just always been there. But they're not like friendly. They just know each other and like have known each other for years, And so as the years go on, there's like an unspoken thing between Sam and, I was gonna say Charlie, Sam and Percy. And like they both know it, and that at times it's brought up. They're just always like, well, we don't want to act on it because we don't want to ruin the friendship. I'm telling a story. These are all flashbacks because the actual root of the story starts when they're 30, and they met when they were like 13, I want to say. So they're introduced as adults. We first meet Percy, and she gets an invitation from Charlie saying that their mom passed. And so he's like, hey, I want you to go to the funeral. And she's like, I haven't seen you guys in like 12 years after our falling out. And I was like, okay. And then that's how the flashbacks start. They meet at 13. We go through every summer where they're like, they have this thing, this unspoken thing that they're like, let's just not act on it because we don't want to ruin the friendship. Sure, fine. Every chapter alternates. So the first chapter was current, and that's when Charlie reaches out and he's like, hey, you're invited to the funeral. And then it goes into the flashbacks. So second chapter was 17 years ago, fourth chapter's 16 years ago, and so on, and I really liked that writing style because it really kept you on your toes, because each chapter was like, it's so confusing. I'm like kind of all over the place with this, but like try to keep up. So basically, with it being every other chapter, while we're learning about every summer of them growing up, the story of them in the present is continuing. And so every time the present chapter ends, it goes into why that chapter ended that way and what they're referencing. So then, we learn the background of whatever they're arguing about at the moment. The story goes on. Percy and Sam this is now like 13 years ago, they decide to get together. And it's like, sure, cool. They're together, but they're long distance. I forgot to mention. Percy only lives at the cottage during the summer. It's giving the summer I turn pretty. Let me just be the first to say, this book gives off the summer I turn pretty, but at a lake. The summer I turn pretty at a lake. Like, they end up getting together, and because they're long distance, Percy's already like, he's hot. There's no way there's not other girls around him during the school year. And, you know, he's like, no, like, I like you, you know? Their last summer together before they go to college, he's like,
hey, I'm actually gonna leave in a couple of weeks. Sorry I didn't tell you about it.
And she's like pissed because she's like,
you knew you were gonna go leave for like this early program and you didn't tell me until like 10 days before you had to go.
And so obviously she's feeling insecure, and she's like, he just wanted to get rid of me, or like he doesn't want to be around me, like being in a relationship is just like hurting us. And so while he's at the program, he's like,
I promise we're gonna call every day, we're gonna email all the time, we'll schedule FaceTimes, you know, once it's done, I'll go visit you.
And throughout this whole thing, he's being very distant, and he's like,
well, maybe we should just stop talking because I have a lot of stuff going on.
Kind of is like, let's just take a break until the program's over. And so what does this girl do? She runs to his brother. She runs to his brother, who is now taking an interest in her. I think it's kind of like a Jeremiah Conrad situation where like he's always had a crush on her and has always found her interesting, but knew that that was Sam's girl, so then didn't act on it, you know? Actually, that has nothing to do with Jeremiah and Conrad. Neither of them did not act on the feelings. They, of course, get closer and closer after he's like, hey, let's take a break. And they end up sleeping together. Shocker. And so that's like the end of the flashbacks. And then we get into the current times. And she thinks that Sam still hates her 12 years later. And don't get me wrong. They started off, once they saw each other again, they were like hot and heavy again. But she feels guilty because she's like, this is your mother's funeral. I feel like I'm taking advantage of you. And he's like, no, I still love you. What do you mean? But then she's like,
I hate to tell you this, but 12 years ago, I actually slept with your brother.
And he's like,
what do you mean?
Obviously, things start to fall apart. And turns out, in the middle of their argument, he's like,
you think I didn't know?
And so now she feels even worse because she's like, I did keep it a secret from you. And now you know that I've been keeping it a secret from you. And so it becomes this whole thing. But literally, that happens like 10 pages before the book ends. And then they all live happily ever after. She stays with Sam. Charlie's like, yeah, it shouldn't have happened. Like, even though I liked you, like, I knew what state you were in, and I took advantage of you in a moment of weakness. And of course she's like, no, like, I wanted it too. I was hurt by Sam, but like, it happened. What are we gonna do about it? And so they stay like really good friends. Her and Sam live happily ever after. And I'm just like, what was that? Don't get me wrong, the book was good and the story was good, but why was the ending like 10 pages long? Why was the ending 10 pages long? It was so quick to end, and I just needed something more. I don't know, like, it was really hyping the story up to be like a plot twist almost. And like, maybe to some it was, but like, as soon as Charlie started acting a little close to her, I was like, she sleeps with him. In the end, that's why they don't talk, because Charlie slept with her. I knew it. And so for me, it was like kind of predictable. The only thing I didn't predict was that he already knew. Like, Sam already knew that her and Charlie slept together. And so I'm kind of like, the book was good, but the ending was just so rushed. It was so rushed. I have kind of high hopes for the show because it's a show. You have to add more to it because a book is a book. It's 300 pages. A show, it's like an hour an episode and roughly gonna be anywhere from 4 to 10 episodes. So it's like, you kind of need to add something in there because there's no way this 300-page book is gonna fit into like 4 one-hour episodes, you know? I'm really, really hoping that it's good. But honestly, based off of the trailer, I watched the trailer to the show before I read the book, and honestly, the trailer gave me nothing of what the book gave me. The trailer made no sense after I read the book. I was like, I have no idea what any of that means. And that's just me. I loved the book. I would absolutely read it again for another summer. But I don't know. All of that story and all of that build up just to end so quickly. But yeah, the whole time it kind of gave me like the Summer I Turned Pretty vibes. I knew she was gonna sleep with Charlie, but I didn't know if she was like gonna reciprocate those feelings for him. And so in the end, she didn't. The next day she literally woke up, had her first panic attack ever, and she felt really guilty about it. And so, oh, and another thing I left out, when Sam returned from his program, which was like a few days after her and Charlie slept together, he proposed to her. Mind you, this program was basically like a freshman orientation into college, meaning they're like 17, 18. I understand you guys have known each other since you were 13 and have been in love for 5 years, but you just started dating last year. You're 18, 17, 18, and you're proposing to her after you like just told her you wanted to take a break simply because you were just in a different place for like a month, and you want to get married? What? That part, I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you, get up, get off your knee.
Get up.
Like, what do you mean? And so that was another thing that kind of like threw me off, because I was like, if you don't stand up right now, that part kind of like, Sam. Because mind you, Sam was also the one all those years to be like, I don't want to act on this, I don't want to ruin our friendship. And then you're the one that kind of like broke up with her and ghosted her while you were at the program. And then you propose to her when you get back, and you guys aren't even like actually back together. You just decide like, hey, I'm gonna marry you. And like, you expect her to say yes. Like, I know like you guys have had a crush on each other for the past 5 years, but like, you're 18. Also, like, why did your mom give you your grandma's ring? Why did your mom think that was also a good idea? Oh, and that's another thing I loved about this book. There's a lot of books out there. That are like kind of explicit with the, I guess, smut. It's not like super smutty, but like there's definitely some scenes in there that are a little more mature, but then they're about high school students. And like, when I was in high school, like, yeah, maybe it was fine to be reading it when I was in high school, but now being in my 20s and I'm reading about 2 high school students, I don't want to do that. And so one thing I really appreciated about this is that when they're adults, those scenes, they were a little bit more descriptive, but in the flashbacks, they were all fade to black. And I loved that she took care of her characters. And I loved that she protected them at a young age and then just let them go at it as an adult. And that's the one thing that I noticed right away. Because I was like, am I about to read this? And they're like in high school. I would rate the book a 4 out of 5 stars. The only thing I didn't like about it was really the ending and like Sam being down on one knee for no reason. Other than that, the book was really great. The storyline was amazing. I loved all the flashbacks. It was really easy to keep up with, even though like I'm making it sound really confusing. I would recommend it. And it was a really quick read. I think it was only like 304 or 5 pages. I would read it again. It was good. I liked it. As for Spice, I would probably give it like a 2 out of 5 in the spice factor. It did have some scenes when they're adults, but I really appreciated the lack of scenes when they're children, and the adult ones weren't super like unnecessarily long or like unnecessarily descriptive. So I appreciated that. I loved her writing style. I loved everything about the book except for the ending. So yeah, that's my book review. I hope you enjoyed. It's so messy. I'm so messy. I'm so chaotic. Ew, I sound like one of those girls that's like,
I'm not like other girls. I'm so quirky.
ew. But genuinely, that was like the most chaotic book review I think I've ever done. It's actually the only book review I've ever done. Shut up. Let me know if you liked this book review, if you want more of them, if I need to be a little quieter, and which books I should review. Chances are I have it on my shelf. I have a lot of the TikTok famous books because that's where I got my recommendations from like years ago, and I haven't bought books in years because I have a floor-to-ceiling bookshelf that is full of books. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna be so real with you. Yeah, she's a mess. Yeah, so let me know. I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear your feedback on this book specifically. Leave it in the comments if you have read it or if you just, when you watch the show. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I love you. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below what books I should review and what you thought about the book I just reviewed. And if you want just more of these in general, like even if you don't have a recommendation for me, let me know that this is something you want to see, because truly I'm insecure when it comes to my YouTube channel and I need feedback 24/7. Please and thank you. I love you so much. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch my video. It means the world to me. I will see you in the next one. Maybe I'll be a little bit quieter. Bye.